Pirates. The terror of the seven seas. Piracy is one of the oldest criminal practices of humanity. And despite being widely presented in movies and series, they end up showing only the so-called golden age of piracy, but its history goes far beyond this period, with many stories, various historical figures, myths, and legends. Check out all this and more now, in the Great Almanac of History. Take this time to press the like button, and press subscribe button to be notified about videos like this as soon as it been launched. Let's first understand what a pirate is. Pirata is a Latin word, meaning corsair, robber of the sea, which comes from the Greek word, pirates, is literally one who attacks ships. The first documented examples of piracy were the invasions of the so-called people of the sea, who threatened ships sailing in the waters of the Aegean and Mediterranean seas in the 14th century BC. A pirate's activities went far beyond just robbing ships or seaside towns. Kidnapping, smuggling goods, selling prisoners as slaves, and much more were part of their activities. The main objective of piracy was to board the victim's ship without causing death or damage, as it was not logical to sink the richest to win a battle. Sparing the lives of the victims was not only essential to ask for their ransom, but also for there not to be an all-or-nothing fight for life, which would make the fight much more difficult for everyone. So, being able to get out of an encounter with pirates unscathed would motivate many surrenders without a fight. Another activity practiced was acting as a privateer, which was when a captain received a letter of marque from a certain nation and validated piracy actions against the enemies of that nation. Despite the immoral and outlaw nature of their activities, pirates often had an internal code or law. And unlike movies out there, they didn't have cruel treatment on the ship. Being a democracy with equal votes for all and elections for positions of captain, foreman, who could veto orders from the captain, and other officers. The codes varied from ship to ship, but they had a common basis. An example is this from the pirate Bartholomew Roberts. Each man will have an equal vote in discussions. He will have a title equal to the fresh provisions or strong drinks of what is seized, and he must use them at will unless a scarcity makes rationing necessary as long as it is voted on. Each man will be called fairly, in turn, by the list of prizes on board, because, in addition to their appropriate share, they can also change their clothes. But if they defraud the company, even $1 worth in plaques, jewelry, or cash, they will be abandoned. If any man steals another, he will have his nose and ears cut off and be landed, where he is sure to find difficulties. No one should play for money with dice or cards. Lights and candles must be extinguished at 8 p.m. And if any crew member wishes to drink after that time, they must be seated on the open deck without lights. Each man must keep his weapon, cleaver, and pistol clean and ready for action. No boys or women can be allowed among us. If any man is found seducing a woman and taking her to the sea in disguise, he must die. No one should strike another on board the ship, but the dispute between crew members will end on shore with a sword or pistol in this way. At the foreman's word of command, with each man being previously placed back to back, he must turn and fire immediately. If someone doesn't, the foreman will snatch the weapon out of his hand. If both miss the mark, they will meet with swords, and the one who sheds the first blood will be declared the victor. No man should talk about leaving the company until he has collected a share of 1,000. Any man who becomes crippled or loses a limb in service will have 800 pieces out of 8 from the common stock as compensation. And for minor damages, will receive proportionately. The captain and quartermaster will each receive 2 parts of a prize. The master gunner and the storekeeper 1.5 parts. All other officers 1.25 and the sailors, 1 part each. The musicians will have the right to rest on Saturday. Every other day, only as a favor. The aforementioned abandonment penalty was called marooning and was also applied. It consisted of the intentional act of abandoning someone in an uninhabited area, such as a desert island or a sandbar. The word appears in 1699 and is derived from the term maroon, a word for a runaway slave, which could be a corruption of the Spanish word cimarron, cimarron in 16th-17th century English. The practice was a penalty for crew or captains in the hands of a crew in cases of mutiny, and other penalties of the pirate code. He would be given some food, a container of water, and a loaded pistol, so that he could commit suicide if he wished. The result of marooning was usually fatal, but William Greenaway and some men loyal to him survived being abandoned, as did England's pirate Captain Edward. Walking the plank, although widespread in popular film culture, has no historical record or mention other than fictional literature. Don't miss our next episode, where we'll talk about piracy throughout the history of mankind. And if you liked our video, press the like button to motivate us to create more interesting content like this. Take a look at our suggestion of books and other things about pirates, and our sponsors' offers below. See you next time in Great Almanac of History.